You've been there, right? Someone tells you, hey, just do this, and even if it's simple, something inside you just bristles. Well, today we're going to get into exactly why that happens. And trust me, the answer is probably not what you're thinking.
First things first, if you feel that little spark of resistance when someone gives you an order, you need to know you are absolutely not alone. This isn't some weird personality quirk. It's a deeply human thing, something pretty much all of us experience. I mean, just think about it for a second. Your boss, your parents, heck, even your GPS telling you to take a turn you know is the long way around. You feel it, right? That little internal pushback, that friction. It's a real psychological thing.
So that's the big question we're tackling. Why does a simple command, something that's supposed to make life easier, so often turn into this little internal struggle? Well, it turns out the reason is way more fascinating than just being stubborn.
Okay, so why do we feel this way? The easy answer, the one most people jump to, is just rebellion, being defiant. But what if that's not it at all? What if we're missing the real story? The source material we're looking at says the root cause is much, much deeper. And this quote right here, it really nails it. We've got to reframe this whole thing. It's not about wanting to break rules just for the fun of it. It's about a really important process that's happening inside your head. This comparison just lays it out perfectly. On one hand, you've got mindless conformity, basically just doing what you're told without a second thought. But on the other side, you've got mindful questioning. And this isn't about being difficult. It's about needing the command to actually make sense to you before you act. You need that internal validation. So what is this thing, this engine inside us that's always demanding validation? Well, the source material actually gives it a name, and it is the absolute key to understanding this entire feeling. It's called internal reasoning. And what is that? It's this automatic, super fast mental check your brain does. It takes an order from the outside world, and before it says, okay, it runs it through its own filter of logic and past experience. It's basically your brain's own little quality control department. So how does this play out in real time? It's a super quick 3-step dance. Step 1, you get the directive. Do this. Step 2, your brain instantly starts evaluating. Wait, does that make sense? Is there a better way? Does this fit with what I already know? And finally, step 3, you reach a conclusion. Either, yep, makes sense, and you do it, or you feel that friction we've been talking about. Now, here's the most important part to get. This is not a conscious choice. You're not sitting there deciding to be difficult. The source is super clear on this. This evaluation is automatic. It's just how some brains are wired to process the world. Okay, so now we get to the really interesting part, the part that connects all the dots. What kind of person, what kind of mind works this way? The answer is pretty cool, actually. All right, let's build this out. According to the research we're exploring, this entire process we've been talking about is directly linked to high intelligence. But how? What's the connection? Well, that intelligence acts like a supercharger for that internal reasoning we just defined. It makes that internal logic filter more powerful, more rigorous, and even faster. It strengthens the whole process. And that brings us to the big payoff. When your internal reasoning is that strong, you naturally start to trust it more than you trust outside rules. And what does that lead to? Lower conformity. You don't do something just because you were told to. You do it because your own brain has concluded that it's the right and logical thing to do. Man, I love this quote because it just flips the whole script, doesn't it? That need to ask why, that feeling that things have to make sense first. It's not a problem. It's not a bug in your programming. It's a feature. It's a sign of a brain that's working things out on a much deeper level. So, with all that said, let's pull this all together and totally reframe how we think about this trait, whether it's in ourselves or in other people. So, let's just recap this new way of looking at it. This isn't about defiance. It's about a search for solid logic. It's not about being difficult. It's about a fundamental search for the why. It's all driven by this deep need for things to be internally consistent. And really, what it is the autonomy of an intelligent mind just doing its thing. Which brings us all the way back to the beginning. The next time you feel that friction, that little internal pushback, recognize it for what it is. That's your brain throwing up a little red flag and saying, hey, hold up. This doesn't quite pass the logic test. I'm going to need a better reason than just because. And that's really the final thought to leave you with. Instead of fighting this drive to question, what if we saw it as a strength? How can we all communicate a little better in a way that satisfies this need for logic? Because if we can do that, we could unlock so much more cooperation and creativity instead of just frustration. It's definitely something to think about.